honest to God. Anybody have any questions? All right, easy. Yes, ma'am. What is your name?
David Letterman, the iconic late-night talk show host, has welcomed a diverse array of guests and celebrities onto his television programs over the years. While he's renowned for his engaging and often humorous interviews, there have been occasions when his interactions with certain guests turned into feuds, disagreements, or tense moments. Join Facts First as we explore some of the guests Dave hated the most. Kathy Griffin. David Letterman and Kathy Griffin, both well-known figures in the world of comedy and entertainment, have had a somewhat contentious relationship. While it may not be accurate to say they didn't get along, their interactions have been marked by disagreements and occasional tension. One of the notable incidents involving David Letterman and Kathy Griffin occurred during Griffin's appearances on The Late Show with David Letterman. Griffin, who's known for her irreverent and often controversial humor, had appeared on Letterman's show multiple times. But one particular appearance in 2007 stands out as a moment of disagreement. During her interview, she made an off-color joke about then-Senator Hillary Clinton, who was running for president at the time. The joke involved a reference to a specific part of the female anatomy, and it received mixed reactions from the audience. Letterman, known for his dry and sometimes caustic sense of humor, responded by chiding Griffin and asking her to explain the joke. The exchange became somewhat uncomfortable, with Letterman expressing his disapproval of the joke's content. Griffin, for her part, defended her brand of humor and her right to push boundaries in her comedy. The interview ended on a somewhat awkward note, with both Letterman and Griffin maintaining their respective positions. Despite this incident, Letterman and Griffin have had other appearances together where their interactions were more lighthearted and congenial. Sarah Palin. David Letterman's relationship with Sarah Palin, the former governor of Alaska and Republican vice presidential candidate in 2008, was marked by a highly publicized and contentious feud. The disagreement between them can be traced back to an incident that occurred in June 2009 when Palin was visiting New York City. The controversy began when Letterman made a joke during one of his monologues. In his routine, he quipped about Palin attending a New York Yankees game and joked that her, quote, slutty flight attendant look was the reason her daughter got knocked up by baseball player Alex Rodriguez. This comment, which many perceived as crude and offensive, sparked outrage and backlash from Palin supporters and even some who were critical of her. In response, Letterman issued an on-air apology, acknowledging his joke was in poor taste and that it was directed at Palin's 18-year-old daughter, Willow, not her 14-year-old daughter, who had been at the game with her. But Palin and her supporters were not satisfied with the apology. The controversy escalated. Palin appeared on several news programs, including The Today Show and The O'Reilly Factor, where she criticized Letterman for making the joke and demanded a more substantial apology. She accused him of contributing to a culture of degradation and sexism in the media. Eventually, the situation simmered down, and Palin accepted Letterman's apology. But the incident certainly strained the relationship between the two public figures. Madonna. David Letterman's relationship with Madonna, the pop singer, actress, and cultural icon, has been marked by moments of tension and disagreement. While they've interacted multiple times on Letterman's shows, their dynamic has sometimes appeared less than harmonious. One of the most notable instances of tension between Letterman and Madonna occurred during a 1994 appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman. In this interview, Madonna was promoting her Bedtime Stories album, and the conversation took an unexpected turn. Madonna used profanity and challenged Letterman on various topics, including his habit of using her name in jokes. The interview became confrontational, with Madonna at times taking control of the conversation and refusing to answer some of Letterman's questions. At one point during the interview, Madonna asked Letterman to smell her underwear, which led to an awkward exchange. The entire segment was marked by a mix of humor, shock value, and discomfort, and it left a lasting impression on viewers. But despite the confrontational interview, she returned to Letterman's show several times over the years. But this 1994 interview remains one of the most memorable moments in their on-screen history. Joaquin Phoenix. David Letterman's interview with Joaquin Phoenix in February of 2009 is known as one of the most memorable and contentious moments in late-night history. While it wouldn't be accurate to say they didn't get along, their interaction during this particular interview was fraught with tension and confusion. Phoenix, the acclaimed actor known for his roles in films like Walk the Line and Gladiator, appeared on The Late Show with David Letterman in what seemed to be a bizarre and perplexing state. Phoenix had been going through a personal and professional transformation at the time, announcing he was quitting acting to pursue a career in hip-hop music. He had grown a disheveled beard, appeared disoriented, and gave monosyllabic, often incoherent responses to Letterman's questions. Letterman, known for his sharp wit and engaging interviews, seemed taken aback by Phoenix's behavior. Throughout the interview, he made several attempts to engage with Phoenix, but it was clear something was amiss. The awkwardness was palpable, with Letterman at times trying to maintain a sense of humor in the face of Phoenix's unresponsiveness. At one point, Letterman asked Phoenix about his decision to pursue a career in music, to which Phoenix replied with vague and non-committal answers. The interview concluded with Phoenix standing up and shaking Letterman's hand before leaving the stage. It later became evident that Joaquin Phoenix's appearance on Letterman's show was part of a performance art project for a documentary he was filming with Casey Affleck titled I'm Still Here. The documentary aimed to explore the public's perception of celebrity and the blurred lines between fiction and reality. But it's important to note Letterman was not aware that Phoenix's behavior was part of an act at the time. He expressed his initial concern for Phoenix's well-being and confirmed he had been, quote, punked. Bill O'Reilly. David Letterman and Bill O'Reilly, two prominent figures in the world of television and media, have had several notable disagreements and clashes over the years. One of the most memorable was during an O'Reilly appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman. O'Reilly, known for his conservative political commentary on his show The O'Reilly Factor, and Letterman, known for his liberal-leaning views and comedic approach to politics, frequently sparred on various issues. Their disagreements revolved around topics like the Iraq War, the Bush administration, and social and political issues of the day. These on-air debates were marked by spirited exchanges, with Letterman frequently challenging O'Reilly's conservative viewpoints. One particularly heated moment happened during an appearance in 2006. The two engaged in a debate over the Iraq War and the Bush administration's handling of it. Letterman criticized the Bush administration's rationale for the war, while O'Reilly defended the decision to invade Iraq. The exchange became increasingly tense, with both men speaking over each other and expressing frustration. Paris Hilton. David Letterman's interactions with Paris Hilton, the socialite, reality TV star, and media personality, have included moments of tension and discomfort. The most memorable took place in 2007. At the time, Paris was known for her partying lifestyle and had recently been released from jail after serving a short sentence for a probation violation related to a DUI conviction. She was scheduled to appear on Letterman's show to promote her new perfume and an upcoming reality TV series. However, during the interview, Letterman pressed Hilton about her time in jail and her experiences there. Hilton, who seemed unprepared for the line of questioning and visibly uncomfortable, gave short and evasive answers. The interview took on an awkward tone, with Letterman continuing to ask probing questions about her incarceration. At one point, he asked Hilton if she felt her time in jail had changed her or if it had been a valuable learning experience. Hilton responded with a vague answer. The interview concluded on a strained note, with Hilton appearing relieved to be finished with the questions about her jail time. After the interview, some viewers and media outlets criticized Letterman for his line of questioning, suggesting they may have been too harsh or intrusive. Now it's time to hear from you. Which of these feuds was the most surprising to hear about? Let us know in the comments section below.